Howdy, it's the red, white, and blue Jew, aka Jake Donnelly, and this is today's Kvetch. Jewish grit, American truth, and zero apologies. And today, we're going to have to talk about the slaughter of the Gaza Humanitarian Fund and the silence that has followed from everybody in the West. And we're going to do that right now. So approximately at 10 p.m. last night, it appears that Hamas attacked the Gaza Humanitarian Fund, murdering 8 humanitarian workers, injuring a bunch of others, and there are reports that they, and this might sound a little bit familiar, kidnapped a bunch of people as hostages. Now, you would think news like this of a Palestinian terrorist organization attacking humanitarians who are responsible for delivering 13.5 million meals to Palestinians themselves, that would be front page news. But you'd be wrong. But if you looked at the pages of people like Cenk Uygur, Piers Morgan, Anna Kasparian, Dave Smith, all of these people who have been telling you just how immoral Israel has acted, even though Israel is taking part in the Gaza Humanitarian Fund and those 13.5 million meals, which constitutes 2,000 calories a day for the Palestinians themselves, not a single one of them has mentioned this slaughter of the Gaza Humanitarian Fund. And I just have one question. Why is that?
Why?
And the reason is, if it doesn't make the Jews in Israel look bad, they don't care. And that's the dirty secret that isn't even so secret. If it doesn't make the Jews in Israel look bad, all of these people, they never care to share the news.
No, don't like that.
If it makes Hamas look bad, you know, those who conduct war crime after war crime after war crime, if it makes them look bad, well, now we're silent.
Be very, very quiet.
And unfortunately, this is the least shocking news of all time. Why? Because this happened literally last week.
That false report of Palestinian civilians at aid centers being targeted by Israel, that was in fact Hamas shooting them.
You don't know that.
We have the drone
You
footage.
don't know that.
And we have
You actually don't know
accounts.
who killed them.
Yeah. When Piers Morgan and Dave Smith were showing their asses in their argument against Natasha Hausdorff and saying, no, there's no way that the terrorist organization whose modus operandi is to commit war crimes and is to murder humanitarians and is to murder civilians and take them hostage. No. There's no way Hamas could ever do such a thing. Because, of course, Israel and the IDF, well, they're going to do an investigation, and that investigation is going to exonerate Israel and the IDF.
The investigation is still going on, but of course, it's an Israeli investigation, which will doubtless exonerate the Israeli forces.
Because there is no way at all that a terrorist organization would commit war crimes and act like a terrorist organization. No. So what do we all say when it comes to Piers Morgan and his analysis of the situation, that it wasn't Hamas doing this? Bullshit.
That was...
Yet, the only bloviating bovine here dropping cow pies out of his ass is Piers Morgan, not Natasha Hausdorff.
Damn!
And all of this was a part of a conversation where Piers Morgan got his panties in a bunch because he says that Israel doesn't do a good enough job of letting international journalists embed, essentially, with the Hamas terrorist group.
First, of course, is the safety of the journalists, and I appreciate you don't accept that. The second...
I think it's a load of nonsense.
And even when Natasha Hausdorff pointed out that when journalists go in to Lebanon and then they have to actually change the reporting so as to please Lebanon, Piers Morgan had no problem with that whatsoever.
Reason number 3 is that those journalists that were in Lebanon said that they had to be very careful about what they reported because of what Hezbollah would do to their colleagues in Beirut. The fact that international journalists have sunk to this level, that they would allow their reportage to be controlled by terrorist organizations, Iranian proxies, Hamas and Hezbollah included, is despicable. That is the real issue here that has driven
Actually,
the
it's not. The real issue is...
Of course it is.
This
is terrorist organizations' propaganda.
Actually, it's not. Let me bring
David.
David.
And the fact that you will not allow me to answer a single question.
You know what?
Here,
You've made all your points, and they all, I'm afraid,
I
Natasha,
haven't. I certainly
turned out
haven't
to be
made all my
bullshit.
points.
So let me bring...
But of course, That's not a surprise at all because Piers Morgan is the guy who has such journalistic integrity that he would publish knowingly fake photos from the war in Iraq. So of course, he would have no problem whatsoever with reporters changing their stories to please terrorist organizations. But the real problem with all of this is that Piers Morgan and Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian and Glenn Greenwald and Ryan Grimm and Dave Smith, all of these people who pretend to be our moral superiors, their rhetoric is literally getting humanitarians and Palestinians murdered. But because it's not Israel doing the killing, because it's not the IDF that they can blame, silence from every single one of them. Silence when humanitarians get murdered.
I'm getting awful tired of your...
I'm getting tired of your gas. Now jerk that pistol and go to work.
Silence when people are kidnapped.
I said throw down, boy.
Silence when Palestinians are murdered.
Oh. You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed? No? I didn't think so.
So begs the question, what is it that you guys actually care about? Do you care about the truth or do you care about blaming Israel? Because when you want to actually talk about the truth and you can't blame Israel, you don't talk about the truth.
You got nothing. Nothing.
And it's that jellyfish type spine that gets people murdered. And all I want is fewer deaths. But you guys don't want that. So long as you can't blame the Jews, Israel, and Bibi Netanyahu for something, you don't care how many people are murdered by terrorists. That's you guys.
Did I do that?
So I ask you, pathetic, pompous little pricks that you are, what is it that you actually care about? Do you care about blaming Jews, Israel, and Bibi Netanyahu? Or do you care about saving lives? Because from where I stand, I know that you guys are the dangerous ones that are leading to more deaths.
What Israel just values the sanctity of life so much that they're so worried about these journalists. It's just so ridiculous.
Actually,
it doesn't pass the basic smell
honestly,
test. It's offensive to think that level, you talk about propaganda being spread. That is just pure propaganda. It is obvious. It is
And so whenever you talk about morality, I have one word for that, and it's apparently Piers Morgan's favorite word. Bullshit.
Reason number two.
So every single time that you guys try to take the moral high ground, I'll use one word for that. Bullshit. You fucking moral and intellectual Lilliputians. Damn! Because if you can't call out war crimes, why should anybody listen to you about any of this? The answer is they shouldn't. So this is Jake Donnelly, the Red, White, and Blue Jew, saying like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that we can get this video to those people where we can say bullshit so we can stop them and their rhetoric from leading to more death, because that is how you be moral. So one more time, this is Jake Donnelly, the Red, White, and Blue Jew, saying until next time, folks, see ya!